Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is someone who just got done battling a man in a bear suit. It's Nandi Boetas.
Wow. Did I win though?
I mean, you're
I can't
here.
remember. I passed out. I
This
completely passed out.
Did you get sidekicked by a beautiful kick from a man in a bear suit? Did you get
I
Lily
mean,
Sobieski'd by
I thought it was a dream. I thought it was all a dream. Like, I couldn't believe that was happening.
It's beautiful. It's such all right, so I just gotta tell you, I recently pulled some research for another assignment, and I found these interviews. Neil LaBute and Nick Cage were talking about the Wicker Man, and I don't know what happened, but the first time I watched it, I remember just thinking, okay, this is farce. These are talented people making this movie, and they are just winging it. I was like, I don't know if it's the best idea, but I absolutely adore that they were on set doing this. And I'm not saying that condescendingly either. Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, you're so cute. I just love this movie because I have never seen a performance like this, Sanandi. And this movie is burnt in my memory. It's just a movie that I think is beautiful. I get what went wrong with it, but I do. I don't know. I love it. That's it. That's just I love it, Zanandi. It's such a good movie.
Which one did you watch first? This one or the original?
Oh, this one.
Yeah, see, I kind of, after I watched, because I watched the original one first, and that's the thing, you can't then go back. It's like, if you've seen the original Texas Chainsaw, the others will just, it just won't hit the same. And I think that's the same with Wicker Man. I wish I actually didn't. I wish I watched the Nick one first because I think I would have like enjoyed it more because of like the problems as you've mentioned. Yeah, there were problems. And it was just like so. It was distractingly obvious that it, made it kind of took away from experiencing fully going off on these people, or trying to. I don't know. Like his character was very confusing for me, honestly. Yeah, some choices were made. I love Lily. It was so like it's yeah. I always love watching her. I love her. I loved her in this. And
It's
yeah, the bees, man. Ay, the
I,
bees.
I found a quote from a director that it's a long quote, but I love reading it. He put, "When you have too many people with too many different ideas, even ideas about the kind of genre you're working in, that's tricky. I've learned how difficult it is to make people scared when the sun is shining. It makes me watch a shining in much more awe. It's really tough to do that. Night is often used in horror films and thrillers for a particular reason. What you can't see frightens us. But we were fully aware that this guy is running around in a expletive bear suit." And he laughs. And the karate chop battles with women. We thought this is going to make people giggle. They're going to think this is funny, especially with Cage Unleashed doing his thing. But in the end, we're going to kill him. They're actually going to string him up and burn them, son of a bitch. And I hope that the end result was the same. I don't know that it ultimately was, but that was certainly the intent. And then I kind of like that he put like there was definitely an idea not so much like to make not so much a cautionary tale, but to take this to its illogical conclusion and have fun with it. Put this guy in this position that the young woman usually finds herself in, running around some town of backwoodsmen, and this guy who thinks he's got the power of the police and the patriarchy and all these things in his pocket, and then take those things away and put him on a bike, and he's running around on the island in his little shirt and tie. And I kind of love that about it, but his turn is so quick in this. Like he starts screaming at children, and I mean, listen, I get it. They're gaslighting him, but I don't. You know what though? How many movies do we watch that we forget, Zanandi? Like they immediately
A
leave.
lot.
This is memorable, correct?
I wouldn't necessarily say for the right reasons
Yeah.
though.
No.
Like
No. You're right.
that's my problem, I think, because again with the first one, the guy was an absolute ass with those people. Nick, Nick is too like they give him this sad sap of a backstory thing, and I don't know, like he's actually too likable still. Yeah, he has his moments where he yells, but then he says sorry. Why did you make him say sorry? What does he like? Apologize for being all flustered. I mean, like, I don't know. It was just like little things. I felt like they almost had it. You know what the big thing is though, because yeah, you bring up the whole thing of it's difficult like to be all scary or whatever during daylight. I think the first one was so creepy as hell because they played it so normal. Where this one they didn't play normal. Like, and I think that was the difference, you know, like it's when you try to show, oh, this is like normal, all normalized. The crazy is normalized. That's like the woo, creepy, gets under your skin part. Where this was just Nick frantically running around
Wiping out
in
on
his
bikes.
suit. It was hilarious in his suit the whole time. Like, these people are living out in nature and he's just in his suit. Oh, toch.
And he, and he said, well, there are times when I'm intentionally being mischievous with a character. But The Wicker Man is me playing with the situation because it's so absurd. I could have had a little more help with that film. Initially, I wanted them to leave me in the bear suit to burn me. That would have made the whole farce of the film more disturbing because of what I was trying to do there. But it's just, he's like, I was trying to get the
Yeah.
whole trajectory to go along with the absurdity by having them light me on fire in the bear suit. That would have been horrific. But it wouldn't have been horrific because
No, it would have been funny
but
at
here's the
that
yeah.
point.
But here's the thing. I love that I love that a mainstream actor is out there being that unsafe with the role. Like I think there are modern day actors now who are, they play it safe and they make bank. But here's Nicolas Cage going full tilt. Well, no, you know what? He's just going Nicolas Cage, and because
Yeah, you can always count on him to
yeah,
do that. I mean, Vampire's Kiss was also a
oh yeah,
choice. Like,
and that's his favorite
amazing.
role, which is
Yeah, but I
crazy.
mean, of course, because he went all like that was Nick unhinged. I mean, that was like beautiful to watch. It worked. It's his thing. It works. Like, yeah.
You know what's interesting too is like there's a bunch of different kind of cages. So you watch Matchstick Men or you watch Lord of War, and the director Andrew Niccol, who wrote Lord of War, he wrote, "I don't write with anyone in mind, but as soon as I finished, I thought, who can make the devil charming?" And then he said this Nicolas Cage,
Hmm.
and that made me so happy. There's so many different shades of Cage, but you know what?
I
After
love that.
like
Shades of Cage.
after going through I've been doing a lot of assignments for Nicolas Cage recently. I think he's my favorite actor.
It's definitely what right up there. Absolutely.
Because he just there's so like remember when okay so Cage during the 90s he was the action hero when he did The Rock, Face Off, and Con Air. Those were gigantic movies, and he had just won an Oscar. He won an Oscar for a serious movie. And he's like, I'm gonna become an action star, and then he's like, I'm gonna become a PG friendly Disney star. And then in the 2010s with Mandy, Joe, Mom and Dad, Pig, Willy's Wonderland, The Color Out of Space. He's become this indie actor who keeps churning in really interesting films with auteurs. So it's just a constant evolution of Cage. Ah, I
I
love it.
love it.
I love it. I really do. But I gotta tell you something funny. The article that we're talking about today that I wrote for this MFF data article, I almost quit it. Like I
I
almost
get that. I
I
get that.
I had to consciously uncouple myself from it for probably a year. So I posted this one on 2018. Yeah, I started working on this in 2017. And I guess the post is how much ground did Nick Cage cover while dressed as a bear in the Wicker Man remake? Uh, but I
I
watched it.
get that though, because so I like just when I watched the movie now with your like data in mind and what you had to do, I was like, oh gosh, why did you decide to figure this out? Because the shots are just coming from every angle. It
Yes,
is
yes.
really it's a nightmare trying to like usually you can draw a piece of geography or like a piece of land or a location or whatever. You can kind of figure it out in your head. It's that easy. This one, I mean, did you how many pieces of paper did you have to like stick together to figure this out, Mark? How many pieces of paper you had to use to figure all that out? Did you like go all crime scene detective like what? Because that yeah.
I went into this really naively. I was like, I'm gonna map how far he runs. I was like, that's not hard. I can do that. I've tracked the creature from It Follows. Like I can do
Yeah.
this. And so I was like, I can map the island. And I was actually like halfway through, I got really impressed because he knocks out 3 people and knocks down 2 people with only 6 strikes. I mean, he's a beast. But he had like Neil LaBute had no interest on making anything easy on me because like we talked about this. The geography of the island is not there. And so I struggled, I paused, I got frustrated. It defeated me. I felt like I spent too much time on it. I think I wrote this when I was still managing events and I was like traveling around. I got really mad that I wasn't productive. So I let it sit and then I came back to it months later and it was a lot easier for some reason, like fresh eyes. And then I was able
Uh,
to sort of capture the island because I think maybe I absorbed uh, the island when I first watched it, and then so the second time it felt I can see clearly now. The Wicker Man rain was gone, and I could see all the obstacles in Nick Cage's way. And it's just a
amazing.
bright, sunny day
Amazing. With
for me.
bees.
And it's just like so I just love though that once it came together, it fell together really quick, but it was tough. And so I actually on the piece on Movies, Films, and Flicks, the thing I'm most proud of is the diagram that Megan made. It makes me so happy to look at, and I'll include the link on the post and everything like that. But just seeing that little the beautiful diagram she created, and then knowing that he ran about what? How much did I have? He ran 1.3 miles
In a bear suit.
in a bear suit, 1,800 yards, 5,400 feet. It's so stupid. We'll never know the real answer, but I feel like my map is pretty close. Did that map, did it make sense to you?
I mean, I don't know, Mark. Honestly, I only watched it once. Just like knowing that you had to do all of this, and I was like, nope. Like, wouldn't actually. I think I would have quit way sooner than you did. Just said no, this is not for me. But I mean, on that note, like, it was funny because I was sitting there thinking, well, the whole like actually all these different angles and it not really making sense could arguably, like be part of throwing this whole like, Nick into this chaotic world and everything just going like crazy down the road. I don't know. That also didn't really come across or like translate. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not The
It's impressive
Shining.
though
It's not like
that
The Shining where Kubrick purposely makes the corridors not make sense. Like that was a
yeah,
conscious issue. This one they threw him on an island and had him running around.
exactly. And took shots where they could take shots, I guess. Like,
Hmm
it was just like what was available and just yeah, jam it all together.
With him on a
Yeah,
bicycle, just
the
screaming,
jam.
and then getting hit by bees, and just, oh, what a lovely movie. It just, imagine being on set with this performance. It just, and also he's not, like, this is such an illegal investigation, too, which makes me kind of happy. He's just showing up there.
It's just going rogue because, well, yeah, his ex like wrote him a letter like it's the 18th century, and then he just rocked up. um, yeah, I mean, I think I wanted more. Like, I like the idea of where they of what they did. I like the idea of it, but I just think, yeah, if you're gonna, does it make sense when I say that I feel Nick was almost underutilized here? Does that
Yeah.
make sense to you?
Um,
I wanted
underutilized.
more. Like, if you're gonna do it all Nick Cage, then yeah, I don't know. I would have just let him rip. Like, make it a 3 hour movie.
Yes, because what's interesting? That's a great point because folk horror, woodland folk horror movies, I think they're at their best when they have room to breathe and just sort of drag you into the miserable depths of hell. Like by the end of some of these
Yes,
movies, you want to be exhausted. You want to,
exactly.
as Florence Pugh is laughing, you want to feel the 3 hour movie on your shoulders to get the full effect.
Exactly.
But yeah, this one is just sort of just, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's interesting because like I respect that they try to make it their own and like do their own thing, and not make an exact copy of